Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be talking about uniting our company, JCPenney, with this incredible organization, Rescue Her, which works in the human trafficking field. Today, we're going to show you why this is such a valuable project and why it's worth supporting. I'm Priya Lurie.
I'm Caroline Cutberg.
I'm Christy Sturna. What is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the business of stealing freedom for profit. There are two types of human trafficking: sexual trafficking and labor trafficking. There are an estimated 40.3 million reported cases in which 20.9 million are labor trafficking and 15.4 million are sexual trafficking. Men and women of all ages are affected by this, especially children of ages 18 and below. Since 2007, there have been 170 million reported and non-reported cases. As you can see on the slide, from 2014 to 2017, there has only been an increase and it only continues to grow. The occurrence of human trafficking is highest in the state of California, with Texas following in second. 800,000 to 900,000 victims are trafficked across international borders. The victims are brutally treated, rarely fed, and most do not speak English. All the stats found were through signals like phone calls and emails which were received through hotlines. Now I'm going to pass it on to Caroline to talk about in specific.
Oh gosh. Will you click? Sorry. So not only is human trafficking a countrywide epidemic, but it also strikes harder in Texas due to our proximity to the border and our lax policies on undocumented labor. So Texas is ranked second in the country for human trafficking in terms of activity. Almost a third of the human trafficking calls in America came from Texas, so a large proportion of trafficking activity occurs right here. Dallas itself is actually responsible for the second highest rates in the state, with Houston being first. In a study by the University of Texas at Austin, it was found that 300,000 people were trafficked in both labor and sexual exploitation. Of that group, 79,000 were identified as minors. All in all, human traffickers made $600 million in revenue on human trafficking in last year alone. So a good fraction of this inhumane industry occurs in Dallas as we sit here. Unfortunately, we see little effective action actually being taken. Christy is going to take over and talk to us about our intervention and why it's not substantial enough.
Okay, so to illustrate just how bad the problem is, the government does invest about $120 million a year to fight human trafficking, but very little is actually allocated to the victims, and also only around 7,000 traffickers are actually prosecuted. So how can we take action to help fight this? So we as JCPenney believe in the golden rule, which is treat others the way you would like to be treated. And that applies to everyone around you. And our headquarters are actually in Plano, Texas, which is why we're so passionate about fighting human trafficking specifically in Dallas. So our company is also female and diversity oriented. About 70% of our loyal shoppers are women, and 80% of our associates in 2016 were also women. In the past, we have partnered with charities before. We donated $1 million of donations to Volunteer Now, and what Volunteer Now did is that they made those items available to nonprofits, local school districts, first responders, military personnel, and veterans. So now I'll hand it to Caroline to talk about the charity that we'll be partnering with.
So Rescue Her is a Dallas-Fort Worth-based operation that is focused on the rescue and rehabilitation of human trafficking victims. So in terms of rescue, some of their activities involve going to high-risk motels around DFW, which is where a large proportion of human trafficking activity actually occurs. And they'll go there and they'll place small objects in bathrooms like soap or little pieces of paper or with their hotline number on it, because bathrooms are generally the only place that human trafficking victims get to be alone. So this is to attract women and men to not garner them unwanted attention from their captors. Rescue Her also offers volunteers who call women who are soliciting themselves online on like illicit websites or chat rooms. They sometimes call to offer kind words of support, but sometimes they're calling to get them out of dangerous situation if need be. Rescue Her also educates the staff of motels around Dallas and high-risk areas to spot the signs of human trafficking and to respond to them accurately. Lastly, Rescue Her focuses on prevention through advocacy. They have weekly meetings and calling circles to reach out to women and to garner attention for this cause. And they also host events yearly to bring awareness and allow victims to see that they are not invisible. Overall, Rescue Her is a great organization that JCPenney would be proud to partner with. The statistics on Rescue Her show this notion in full. One of their main priorities was to reach outside of Texas to places in the world that are higher risk than America, like China, India. They also rehabilitated 10 grade ones, which are the human trafficking victims that they take into their education program. So 10 grade ones graduated in 2018. So now they have joined society as healthy citizens. They also received 44 hotline calls in 2017. Their hotline is different than the national hotline so that they can be more zoned in on Texas area. And so they'll respond with volunteers who drive weekly rounds and respond to the calls as they come in. In addition, they've been training motel staff in 90 motels around DFW and high-risk areas to spot and prevent the signs of human trafficking whenever they see them. So now I'll pass it off to Christy to talk about our partnership.
All right, so to just go over what our general plan will be for partnering with this charity. So using our resources and facilities, we hope to provide professional clothing to brave ones, which they can then use at our career fair event. And we're also organizing this event to raise awareness about human trafficking. And hopefully through this event, we'll raise enough funds that Rescue Her can create future events that will help even more. And now I'll pass it to Priya to give more.
So this is a small timeline of the two events we're conducting. The first event is a clothing drive, which is going to be in 3 different locations: the UTD Activity Center, the U.S. Event Center, and the Dallas JCPenney store, happening on these 3 different dates. We'll spread the word through social media and through the flyers, which has detail regarding the event. Right after, we will have the second event, which is the Career Fair, which is on the 26th of April at the UT Dallas Activity Center, with companies like Walmart, Pepsi, Amazon, and American Airlines, and many more. Many of the victims that survive human trafficking are living on low income or no income at all. We believe creating these opportunities will help them lead a normal and better life. Now I'm going to pass it on to Caroline so she can talk about the budget.
Okay. So overall, the events that we're planning on overtaking will cost around $10,000, which is including rent and catering. So JCPenney will cover half of the expenses, which will come out to around $5,000, and Commerce will be expected to cover the remaining half. In addition, to further our impact, we'd also like to give $50 for every woman assisted. So we estimate that with these professional experience and this professional clothing, that will assist around 20 women. So that would come out to $10,000. JCPenney would match that in addition. So the total cost to Commerce would be around $15,000. So what would the effect of a combined $32,000 be for an organization like Rescue Her? Rescue Her had a contribution of $130,000 in 2017. So with an addition of $32,000, that would be a 23% increase in contributions, which would be a 23% increase in effectiveness for Rescue Her now and for the future. So now I'm going to pass it on to Christy to talk about some possible questions that y'all might have.
Okay, so some of you may be asking, what if victims have criminal records? So all the companies at the career fair are accepting of criminal records. And the companies that will be there, just to name a few, are American Airlines, ExxonMobil, Unilever, and Walmart, and other different kinds of businesses in the industry. How many victims will be assisted? So in the past, Rescue Her has helped about 10 women each year, and we're hoping that with our added resources and funds that we can double that and help 20 women in a year. And hopefully through this event, Rescue Her can build off of that and help even more women throughout the years. And where will the clothes from the clothing drive go? So if the clothes are suitable and professional, they'll go to Rescue Her and they will distribute them to the victims of human trafficking. And if they're not suitable, they'll just be donated to a clothing bank or further used to raise money for the victims. So those are just some general questions. If anyone else has any questions, you can feel free to ask.
No questions?
Yes.
What are y'all's names so I can write them down?
I'm Caroline Cutler.
I'm Christy Sterman.
No questions?
Did you go to like the slide when you're
Yeah. Yeah.
I think so. Do you want to just go to the,
So no other slide related questions or anything like that?
The $50 that you're giving to it, is that going to each woman gets $50 or are you giving it to Rescue Her to help?
That's
with
going
their-
to Rescue Her.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
How often do you plan on doing this event?
So this is just for this year. We're doing 3 events in the span of 3 months. Hopefully, after this year, JCPenney would continue to work with Rescue Her. So hopefully next year we would have another 3 events and then make like an annual thing to kind of help Rescue Her out.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.